you guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. On your mark, get set. What's up, my good peoples? Welcome to the Be Transformed podcast, where we're talking about ideas that stimulate wholesome thinking into identity, purpose, vision, and action. I am James Anderson, and with me is Logan Eaton and Kyle Entman, my good bros. Aloha.
Aloha. It's crackling. What's happening, guys?
What's happening?
Good to be seen.
Good to be saw.
Just flew in from Hawaii.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You like it, that little elephant there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little bamboo hut
Yeah.
he's eating.
It's one of my favorite shirts. Worn it 3 times this week.
Wow.
Just joking.
Taking it off.
Just joking. I kid.
I get 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice weather around here.
Well, it's good.
Real
Became
nice
summer
weather. Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah, it did.
I think the rainforest season is over.
So now we're going into a drought.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the desert season.
Yeah. Ice cream weather. Yeah.
It's raining.
You guys know anything about that, huh?
Ice cream weather?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite kind?
Probably vanilla. Froyo.
Frozen
Yeah.
yogurt.
And put some little cheesecake in it.
Like your own cheese? Like you buy
Big little bits there.
little bits?
Yeah. Throw it
Or
in
you
there.
go to a special place?
Lola's.
Yolanda's, yeah.
Yolanda's, yeah.
That's what I call it. Yolanda. You know what I've been doing? Well, I did a few times. It was a root beer float, but with cookie dough ice
Oh.
cream.
Nice.
Yeah, it's legit.
Real good?
Real.
Wow.
good. Yeah, one time I did Dr. Pepper and mint chocolate, and that did not go,
I think you told me that.
that
yeah.
did not go well.
Yeah, I think you told me that. It sounds like it would be
seemed
okay,
it
right?
seemed all right.
Yeah.
It's what I had, but it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
No, those
That's
flavors
hilarious.
turned on each other.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be a nice melty combination, but a little minty with a little of that vanilla-y Dr. Pepper flavor, but didn't work out, you said, huh?
It did not work
Yeah.
out. All right, pop quiz. You weren't here last week.
Yeah.
What do you call a ship's steering wheel?
Oh, a hull, right? Is it a hull?
I think that's the helm.
The helm?
I think that's where, like, the steering
The
station.
ship's steering
Yeah,
wheel.
like on a pirate ship.
Right. That big, circular thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we couldn't think of it either.
Didn't you have to take a boating course to get your boat?
but I just
Guessed.
guessed, yeah. Money talks, you know. Yeah, no. It's who you know, not what you know. Yeah. That's tough. Once you get out and learn and get into a couple little accidents, you'll learn what to do and what not to
Right.
do.
Sure.
I mean, you learn
Once you
should
sink
always
it
have
once or twice.
gas. Yeah.
You should always have gas.
Once you get stuck on a lake 4 times, you start to learn a little bit.
At least.
Mm.
Once you get pulled over by the Coast Guard a couple
Yeah.
times.
I don't even think they have those anymore, those big steering wheels.
Yeah, who knows?
What's it called?
It
Anything?
just says ship's wheel.
The shipping wheel. Yeah, we almost got stuck out there that one time, Logan.
Yeah, we didn't have any gas.
Fell through
Well,
your holes.
Did we get back or did we have no
Ship
gas?
wheels.
I think we just barely made it to the gas station.
Did those people drag us? Were you there? Or you weren't?
No, the
No,
Coast Guard followed us.
That
in
wasn't
one
that time. Okay. Coast Guard followed you back, yeah. Huh.
You
Yeah.
had to get dragged in one time? You
It
had to
was-
get towed?
Couple times, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, a couple times. One time, there was this other boat that dragged us in that wasn't the Coast Guard, and then,
Just somebody that was like, hey, looks like you need help.
yeah, well, you kind of, when you get in the channel and people are passing you by and they see you're not moving and they can tell something's up. So it depends on the boater, you know. Some people are really cool about it. Some people are jerks and don't really care too much. But yeah, it happens.
Nice. I'm glad you sold that thing.
Yeah, that was a death trap.
Did you give it one more spin around the lake?
I haven't. No. Think I'm gonna sell my bike too. Need a little extra cash. I don't ride it
Too
enough.
much Yolandas.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know anyone that's looking for a little bike, let me know.
Okay.
It is what it is, you know.
It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Sometimes you gotta let go of some stuff.
Yeah. Just move on.
Or
Just
eat
move
less
on.
ice cream. One of the two.
Yeah, I love that ice cream though. Still churning in my stomach just thinking
Whoa.
about it.
Oh, you're a
Thinking
factory.
about it. Yeah,
churning
it's
in you.
churning. Man,
Wow.
wants to go in my belly. My brain.
Your brain wants to go in your belly? Oh my
For
gosh.
sure.
Yeah, well, let's hop into it. Tonight we're talking about attitude.
Okay.
How you need a good attitude. It's not just like a good idea. It's like you need a good attitude. Like you need the right attitude to achieve your dreams, to achieve your purpose, to achieve your vision. Like you necessitate a good attitude. You know, your attitude is a reflection of your perspective on life. And your perspective on life is based on your belief system, like what you actually believe about yourself, about God, about life, about the situations, circumstances around you, right? Your belief system affects your perspective, how you view things, and how you view things is reflected outwardly by your attitude. But yeah, I was just kind of thinking how it's like the necessity to have, like, you know, tenacity. Tenacity is like it's a firm grip of determination and perseverance. Like your attitude has to be like, I'm here and I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could kind of end up kind of with a posture that's always like ready to backpedal based on any bad situation or circumstance, or your attitude is that in which, well, it's probably not going to work out, or I could try that, but I've did it before, it's probably going to fail. You know, like you get these attitude based upon your past experiences, and when that becomes your belief system, that you believe that's the only thing that's going to happen, it's like your attitude sucks. And so you turn things down and you complain and you whine, and it's all because your perspective has kind of gone down the poopers.
Yeah.
The old poopy scoopies.
That's interesting. I think it's easy to forget how much it reflects what's going on the inside too. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
how,
attitude.
and and how often you think it can't be changed, but like you have the complete power to like control your attitude.
Yeah.
Make it what you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Right, because it all starts with like, it's the idea that you picture in your mind. I mean, because even just you saying that, like I just got a picture of myself, right, with an attitude that was like something positive. It was based on the idea that anywhere I go, I can make the situation better. Like that idea will give you an attitude of like, yeah, like of yes. Somebody asks you to do something, yes. Do you want to do this? Yes. Do you want, an attitude of like, man, it's just stuff doesn't work out as I try, and or even like the idea of if I can do the least amount of work necessary, that's how I want to accomplish everything. It's like then somebody says, hey, here's an opportunity, and you're like, no, or let me think about it, right? Like you're always kind of like hanging back instead of like the yes, let's go, right? Like the jumping at the opportunity, trying to get after it instead of always
You're right.
stepping back. Let me process that for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the opportunity's over in 5 minutes.
Mhm. Yeah, having that attitude, man. Moving forward despite maybe not feeling like it, just putting the work into it. Yeah, that can be and I think it goes back to having that that vision and plan on trying to accomplish something each day, moving forward, having an attitude of, man, I might not feel like it, but pushing forward and trying to accomplish little things, doing it when it's presented to you.
Yeah. Being open to,
Trying new things,
yeah.
even when you've
Sure.
never done them before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the best things to do.
Ride a new roller coaster.
Oh my gosh, with no seatbelt.
Yeah.
You like roller coasters, don't you, James?
No.
I don't like them too much either.
Mm-mm.
I've done the slingshot thing once, but that was
You got like a
coerced.
Birds?
Well, yeah, you sit in this 2-person thing, and this bed cedar point. You ever seen it?
Oh,
they
and, like,
lean you back,
shoot you
yeah,
up or something?
shoot your way up, yeah.
Mm.
Scary.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple videos where some people pass out and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, but just having that attitude of, like we've talked about, trying to use your gifts and abilities to foster growth around you. Like, I think it makes it a little easier once you have something you're moving forward to, and you can put your energy into developing that more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to this thing by Miles Monroe, and he was talking about the attitude of the lion and how, like, so the lion is known as the king of the jungle, right? Which, do lions even live in a jungle? I feel like that's a tiger.
Or a panther or something like that.
Because it depends on what
Maybe.
jungle you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the king of the jungle, right? That's the phrase anyways. But so the lion's known as the king. But the lion's not the biggest animal. He's not the heaviest. He's not the tallest. He's not the fastest. And he's not the smartest, right? Right? He's not as tall as the giraffe. He's not as big as the elephant. And he's not as heavy as the hippo or as fast as the cheetah. But the lion is known as the king, right? So the thing that sets him apart is his attitude, right? Perspective on life. Like when a lion sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. But when an elephant sees a lion, he thinks eater. Right? Like the two of them are looking at each other, but they both hold totally different perspectives, right? The lion's like, that is food. And the elephant's like, that guy's going to eat me, right? But the elephant's huge, right?
Mhm.
I mean, if you've ever seen like a National Geographic, you see a lion like jump up on top of like the butt of the elephant, right? And the elephant's still standing. I mean, that lion's probably like 500 pounds or something. I mean, that guy's just standing, no problem. He's like bites into his back. But it's like the thing's huge. But the perspective, right? The that each one has towards one another is the thing that is the difference. It's not that you have to be the biggest or the strongest or the fastest. It's that you have to have the best attitude, the best perspective of the situation, like the way you view it, right? Because, I mean, you even think about like, I don't know, like a street fight or like MMA or something like that. It's like it's not necessarily the biggest person, right? It's like you could see a small person against a big person, but the small person's attitude is that of a giant, right? It's like that attitude is what you must have, right?
Sure.
To attack life.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you I think it's hard to get that attitude if you're not moving in a direction you want to move in. I don't think. I think that attitude's hard to. I don't know, because you can control your attitude. So it's. I don't know if it ever comes into full fruition though if you're not moving in a direction that. It's not like. Completing what you are setting out to complete. I don't know. Maybe not, but that's what I kind of think. I mean, you can change your attitude, but I don't think it ever comes into full like. Or you can use it to your full advantage until you're going after something that, you're going after your vision. I don't know. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, definitely. If you're, right. Well, if you don't have goals.
Right. There's really no reason to have a good attitude.
Or if you don't know your value or your gifts and your worth, you can have a crappy attitude towards things. I think it's easier to have a crappy attitude towards things or just be like, whatever. But if you know your value and worth and have something you're going to attain, you can kind of like, a sporting event. You can put, the attitude is to win. And, you practice and then you try to put your best attitude into the game that you can and hopefully come out victorious from it.
So how do you change your attitude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think your attitude can change no matter where you are. But it does come from like a place of identity and self-worth. So I was listening to a thing and Earl Nightingale, and he was just talking about how your attitude is what reflects your perspectives, but then people are affected by your attitude, so like good or bad, and then people will respond kind of with your attitude. So like the world responds back to you in a sense of however you approach it, good or bad.
Interesting.
But yeah, I was thinking about like the Navy SEALs and how I don't know, you listen to these guys and it's just they go through this intense training, but it's on purpose, right? So going through something hard, going through things that are hard, like you can do, but you kind of have to go through it with the right attitude, because if you go through a challenge but you whine the whole time, like I don't know if you're that much stronger afterwards. I mean, you still like got through it and whatever, and that's good. But it's like I think there's something different when you embrace the situation and then you destroy it, like you dominate, right? Like these guys would intentionally put themselves in hard situations, but their attitude came with them, right? Like they weren't victims of the situation, because this one guy was talking about like their perspective is like when there's all these missions being laid out or whatever, and there's like a couple different options, you're like, oh, whichever one's the hardest, the longest, the hottest, the most difficult, the least likely to succeed, give us that one, right? Like, so that means your mentality came with you, right? Like your ability to go through something, through a challenge and dominate through it, right? Like that kind of builds this self-confidence. It builds rapport with yourself, right? When you say you're going to do something and then you follow through it, not for anybody else, but for yourself, right? It's like that kind of like you start to really discover what you're capable of. Because it's one thing to be like, okay, this is like intellectually, this is what I'm capable of. And then it's another thing for that idea to be put to the test. And then you really physically, emotionally, and mentally see what you're actually capable of. But it's like, as you kind of overcome these things, you kind of really get a sense of what you're made out of, what you can do, right? But still, it's your mentality has to come with you, because if you complain the whole time, like, man, I feel like there's so much energy that gets sucked out of the core of who you are, like in like that negative attitude, and the whining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens, yeah. I think that prevents a lot of people from doing things too. It's just the negativity, the negative thoughts, the attitude shift. That's not where it's supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah, it can totally screw you up.
Yeah. Yeah, and complaining too. Such a, complaining just a waste of energy, in my opinion. Waste of time. It doesn't get you anywhere. I'd rather just do what I got to do to get it done.
Yeah.
Like complain all you want, but I don't know. Just like at
Right.
work, like
It's not
you
gonna
complain
fix
about a
anything.
job or something like that you have to do, and it's like it's not going to get it done any faster. So just do it.
Right, Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's 95 degrees out. Okay, complain, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
And that makes all the difference, though. Because, for my work, washing houses and stuff, we do all our quotes over the phone. So, like, sometimes you get to a job and it's like, it's different than what you expected or whatever, or it's more dirty, or it takes more effort, or it was bigger than you thought, or whatever. And it's like, I can get caught up in, oh my gosh, we undercharged, or this is taking forever, or this and that. It's like, all right, I could focus on that, or because like you said, it's like I'm still going to get it done. Nothing's going to change. So if nothing's going to change, then the thing that should change is my perspective, my attitude, because it's not going to make it any more fun. It's like you're wasting that energy going over and over and over and over. Oh, this was wrong. This was wrong. This was wrong. This was wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, dude, I'm glad I'm alive.
yeah,
Right? That idea of gratitude and being like grateful, like, no, but seriously, it's like, because it can kind of snap you back into reality where it's like, no, literally, like, I'm here because of a decision I made, right? Like, I mean, I'm doing what I'm doing because I chose to do it. I am the master of my life. I'm not enslaved by anything.
Right.
And it's like, you just kind of getting into the correct perspective.
Yeah.
Swap up that attitude.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you think about like what's the worst that can happen too. Like what really is the worst that could happen
Mm-hmm.
if you're trying a new thing or going through something or whatever.
Right.
It's like what's the process look like?
Yeah.
And I think too, it's just you can get easily frustrated when you're trying to figure everything out. But it's like if you could break it down, figure out the the steps and everything. It's like then it starts to become easier, and your attitude might shift to, or will shift to, this really isn't that difficult, or like if you're worried about what's the worst that could happen, it's like you break down what the absolute worst thing. It's like who really cares
Right.
if the worst happens. And so, yeah, facing the worst, I think can help too. Facing the worst and expecting the best, and breaking things down into what's just the next step. Yeah, can totally help shift an attitude of like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, to like, okay, here's the next thing, here's the next step. I've faced the worst that could happen and still moving forward, and I'm expecting the best that could happen. Yeah, it's just those little things you got to do in your head to kind of shift your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was even thinking about like problem solving, like when you get into a problem or like you're trying to make something and it's like going wrong and you get frustrated and like upset and angry. It's like you still end up finishing whatever it is that you're working on. So it's like the getting frustrated doesn't even make any sense. It's like because it could be, the whole process could be a lot more enjoyable. Like nothing has to be this giant burden.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
really doesn't.
perspective.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nothing does.
And it's just like, who cares if it took you twice as long? Just in anything. It's just like, who cares if you spend half your Saturday like working on this thing you thought was going to take you 2 minutes? It's just like,
Yeah.
what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So who cares?
Right. Right.
It's amazing, man. It's your perspective.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, and it's, you see a lot of people who do get frustrated easily over things. Maybe something didn't go their way they're expecting it, or as fast, or as well as they were expecting it. But yeah, that perspective is really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And knowing that that's, viewing it like that can be really powerful.
As
Yeah.
you have the freedom to change your perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Changing it to be more like reasonable, like not like putting these crazy expectations on things. Having an attitude towards like it'll be all right, however it's accomplished. Doesn't have to be a certain way or whatever.
Yeah. 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 Right, because that's a perspective, though, right? Like, no, it's going to work out. Like, it's going to be okay.
Right.
No, you're going to make it. Right? Because otherwise you're spending your time, I'm not going to make it. No, I'm going to die. No, it's going to be okay. No, you're going to make it. No, you're going to do it. Right? Like, your good attitude comes from picturing good. It comes from picturing yourself succeeding. It comes from, like, right? It's like even, like, having a perspective and an idea and a belief that even the interactions you're going to have are good, right? Like, if you ever get into situations or groups, or going to a regular group and there's some people that kind of just like, kind of bother you or whatever. And you can picture having an encounter with them before you have an encounter with them. And you've already kind of pictured it failing and set yourself up for failure and blah, blah, blah. But it's all in your mind. It's just like, but like a good attitude is like one who can handle any situation, who can love people regardless of differences of ideas and perspectives and this and that. Like you don't have to treat anybody any different just because, right? I mean, like that kind of attitude that you are free, you have the power to choose how you want to respond. You have the power to choose how you want to feel. You have the power. You can choose your attitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just choose to be like, no, look, I'm going to win. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be cheerful. I'm going to be joyful. I'm just going to do it. What would it look like to be joyful, right? Like, how do you picture yourself, being happy, enjoying what you're doing, enjoying waking up, right? Be like, no, I'm glad to be waking up, right? Instead of like, I'm tired, I could just sleep. I don't really have a reason to get up. And he's like, no, I want to get up. I want to live today, right? Like just, you got the choice to choose the tude. The toodles. Yeah, in Ephesians 4, Paul talks a little bit about this. He says, so I tell you this and insist on it in the Lord, that you must no longer live as the Gentiles do, in the futility of their thinking. Futility means useless and pointless. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. Having lost all sensitivity, they have given themselves over to sensualities so as to indulge in every kind of impurity, and they are full of greed. That, however, is not the way of life you learned when you heard about Christ and were taught in him in accordance with the truth that is in Jesus. You were taught with regard to your former way of life, right, was useless and pointless, to put off that self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, and be made new in the attitude of your minds, and put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. So he says, you were taught to put off the old self, which was useless, and to put on the new self, which is created to be in the likeness of God. Right? Like to be changed in the attitude of your mind, right? To like think like God thinks, to view things like God view things. getting rid of like those, the futility. This is hilarious, right? Useless and pointless, like things that don't matter. Like just getting mad because the thing you just spent 2 hours working on just fell to pieces. It's like, okay, whatever. You getting frustrated doesn't fix it. That's useless. That's futile.
Yeah.
Seems good at the moment. Yeah. But it literally solves no problem.
Yeah.
Having a bad attitude doesn't fix anything. Even when, like, if you're somewhere you don't want to be and you have a bad attitude, it doesn't solve your problem. It can be hard because you feel like, this sucks and I don't want to do anything, but it still doesn't solve your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it actually causes problems, I think. It actually causes more problems. Like, you start worrying.
Yeah. Then you just create more problems up in your head.
Yeah. And then you can't operate as well. Your relationships start to... Yeah, it just creates anxiety, and anxiety creates frustration, and frustration creates issues between people, and lack, not getting things done and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you going to do about it versus an attitude of what are you going to do about it versus what are you going to talk more about it? There's like having an attitude of, okay, so yeah, this is happening, but what am I going to do about it? What can I do about it, right?
Yeah.
So I can adjust, if it's something doesn't go my way and I get frustrated, well, I can either stay frustrated or I can take a breath, step back and try it again and or do something else, adjusting to the situation or just realizing, who cares? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think anxiety will literally kill you. Like, it'll literally kill you. Like, you'll get sick, you'll get stressed, you'll get stuff like that. So it's just like, what's the point of even, like, letting it in? I don't know.
Yeah.
But we do so often. But, yeah it's just interesting, the stories of, like, how people have gone through trauma, but, like, have just kept a good attitude and not let it, and they come through it and whatever. But the people that, like, stay in that, like, literally degrades their body, and, like, just, it's like he finishes you. Like, that's, like, literally a tactic the enemy uses to just, like, finish you off. It's like anxiety. And you can feel it, like, when you get lost in anxiety, it's like you can feel like you're just, like, getting sucked out of everything. So yeah, I think it's anything you can do to control that, and it's realizing that you have the power to control that. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, because because Jesus said, he said, look, man, I'm talking about worry. He's like, if you can't change your height by worrying, he says, if you can't do something that small, then why would you worry about anything else? Like, if by worrying you can't make yourself taller, then by worrying you're not going to solve your problem.
Yeah. For sure.
He said, if you can't do something that small, which is grow taller on purpose, if you can't do something that small, then why worry about the rest? But worry is your perspective and your perception that you're going to run into lack. You're going to run into a problem. You're going to fail. You're right. Then that attitude goes with you, and it affects what you do and how you do it and how you respond to every situation, right? Like, but an attitude, right, of tenacity, right? That firm grip of determination and perseverance. I'm not letting go. This is mine, and I'm moving forward. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And I can handle anything, right? And I have enough energy. I will have more than enough energy. I can get up. I can move. I can do whatever. I can outwork, outrun, do whatever needs to be done, right? Like, that's the attitude that's going to get you to where you want to go. Got to have that attitude. Attitudinals.
Attitudeless.
Yeah. When you break it down, it's basically just chemicals too. It's just like just chemicals in the brain chemicals, right?
Yeah.
If you can control those, it's like you basically control whatever.
Like your attitude. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like your attitude's just basically like your brain releases certain chemicals that cause worry and stress and all that, and it's like just being able to control that. It's like this stuff is just like it's falsely created, anyways. Like it's all
Right.
falsely generated. It's
Right.
imaginary, basically.
Yeah.
So why would you even like consider being so worked up about something that's imaginary?
Right.
Yeah. Fairy tale.
Well, because that's faith. That is the use of faith. That is the principle of faith at work. That you believe in the unseen. You believe in the picture you see. It's just the pictures you see suck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're the ones that you get emotionally connected to, you believe it. You're like, oh no, that feels like that's real. That's because your body's producing that emotion because it can't tell what's what's
Yeah.
only in your mind or what's actually happening.
Right.
Yeah. True.
So holding on to that faith.
Holding on to faith in the truth, yeah. Yeah. That's why it's like be renewed in the spirit of your mind, in the attitude of your mind, right? Based upon truth, based upon like the nature of God, based upon your new nature, right? In righteousness and holiness. Like in identity, in purpose, in vision, who you are, your value, what you're called to do, and the fact that you can do it. The fact that you can succeed. That even a no doesn't mean no.
Mm-hmm.
That was David, right? David got brought to Saul when an Israelite army was out there, and Goliath was coming out, and for 40 days these guys were out there, right? The Israelite army was out there against the Philistines, and the first day they got there, Goliath came out and said, "Hey, just send one person. We don't all need to fight. Send one person. If that person kills me, then all the Philistines will be subject to you. If we kill your man, then all of you will be subject to us," right? And so, dude was 9 feet tall, and so all of Israel freaked out. But so here we're talking about attitude, right? Never let the enemy dictate your terms. Ever. Never let anything. You don't have to let somebody else dictate your terms of how you're going to live, right? And he said, okay, just send one man. And they like ran and scared. And for 40 days, this went on. Every day, Goliath would come out. And every day, the Israelites would run away. Right? So then David shows up. David hears this guy, and he's like, what? And then these guys start talking behind him. And they said, hey, man, did you hear? Dude, for the person who kills that guy, we're talking about gold. We're talking about tax exemption. Oh, yeah. No more IRA. You know what I'm saying? IRS. IRA, is that the NRA? No, the IRS and the HWP and the guacamole. Yeah. And, right. And the king's daughter. He's like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff. So he asked another guy, he's getting pumped up. He's like, is this true? Is this legit? Is this what I get if I go kill this guy? But this guy's attitude, right? His attitude was so different that somebody heard him and took him to the king. He showed up that one day, saw Goliath, and was like, wait, what? It's like, who is this guy? So he gets brought to Saul. David says, nobody panic. I'm going to go kill this guy. And Saul's like, dude, you're a kid. No. He's like, you can't do it. Right? So here's David, right? That didn't stop him. He got brought to the king because his attitude was rare. Then the king was like, no, you're a kid. And then David's like, you have no idea who I am. This attitude right here, this is some tenacity, right? This is a firm grip of determination and perseverance. He says, no, look, I killed the bear and I killed the lion. He said, I will kill this guy. So not only did he sell it with tenacity, but then he went and proved it with some more tenacity.
Nice.
Cut that guy's head right off.
Yeah. Cut it off.
Attitude.
Put it on a platter too, right? I think so,
No,
maybe.
but he carried,
Yeah, I think so.
he carried it in.
For a
To,
while.
no, that was John the Baptist
Okay.
said on a platter.
Mm.
But no, he carried it to Jerusalem, delivered it like a pizza. Some head pizza.
Cool.
Yeah, attitude. Don't leave home without it.
Yeah. You can control it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So control it.
Yeah. I think one thing, you go back to the Navy SEAL concept, is like when you get a couple people going in the same direction with that same kind of attitude, it's like one, you have that constant reminder, right? Of like, no, nothing's too hard.
Yeah.
No, I can do it. Oh, I got to walk 100 miles? I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. Right? Oh, you need me to carry that 600-pound thing? You better believe I'm going to do it. I'm going to dominate it. I'm going to love every moment of it. Right? That kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking, you get a couple people together, man, you go take over the world with that kind of attitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, no. Oh, that's hard? No, I'll do it. You need somebody to volunteer? I'll do it. You need that? I'll do it. Oh, no, I'll do it. Oh, I got that. Nobody panic. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody else is like, oh, my gosh. No, I got that.
Mm-hmm.
You need me to carry you too? No, I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Attitude.
Yeah.
Get you some.
Yeah.
Yeah. My good peoples, until next time. Peace.
Peace.